Hi friends, today I'm gonna cook a meal from my pantry. Monday and Fridays I cook what I call Mama Lisa's meals. It's just something I came up with to help some friends of mine who can't really do it like they used to. You know, it takes a lot to stand on your feet and cook a meal. So I just decided to start, I would cook a meal, and then what I had I would share with somebody. So that's turned into Mama Lisa's meals, so that's what I'm doing today. I wanted to make baked spaghetti. Well, not really baked spaghetti, but chicken spaghetti. And I only had the bow tie pastas in my pantry stock, so that's what I'm using. So we're doing chicken bow tie pasta, which is the same idea as pasta, just different shapes. And I'm going to use my canned chicken, which is by Keystone. They're not a sponsor, but they're amazing branded chicken. They taste so good. And some peppers that I had in my raised bed garden, and purple tomato, there is purple tomatoes, a little tiny baby red onion. I didn't plant the right ones. Apparently you have to either plant sets or seeds in my region where I live, and I didn't know that, so it didn't grow very big, but that's all right. We're going to use it anyways. So I'm going to cut these vegetables up. I got my water going for my pasta. And I'm going to dice these up. And there's something about the fresh vegetables from your own garden that you grow. They just taste so much better. I don't know if it's just that knowledge in your head that you know you grew your own vegetables. But I do think there is a taste difference. I think they taste better. They just taste fresh. Next year, I'd like to expand my raised beds and do a few more things in it. So, but yeah, Mama Lisa's Meals, it's not an official business or anything of that sort. A couple weeks back, actually a couple months back, I wasn't doing a whole lot with myself. And I mean, I work full time, but I mean, that's just routine. You do that every day because you got to do that. But I needed something more to do with my time. So I asked the Lord, I'm like, Lord, what do you want me to do with my time? My kids are grown and doing their own thing, and I was just in the routine of life, going to work, coming back, going to work, coming back, you know, going to church, just the routine things. And I just didn't feel like I was really doing anything. So, you know, he reminded me of the story of Peter when the Lord would ask him, do you love me? And he asked Peter 3 times. He said, well, Lord, you know I do, because you know everything. And he told him to go feed his sheep. Well, you know, we know that story means he was speaking spiritually, but, you know, I believe there's a physical application to that too. You know, you can't tell people about the Lord if they're starving to death. And, you know, or if somebody who does know the Lord and they're sitting in their home and they're not able to do the things they once did, you start to question, well, Lord, I didn't think things in life would turn out like this, you know. And so I think that's where we're supposed to come alongside and be the hands and feet of Jesus. And so that's why I decided to do this. And I wasn't cooking like I used to when I had my kids at home. I had 4 kids. Well, I have 4 kids. I still have them. I used to cook a ton for them and their friends. They'd come hang out at the house all the time. And I would cook big old meals up, which I loved. And I hadn't done that for a long time. And, you know, cooking a meal for one person when you've been used to cooking a meal for a lot of people is not an easy thing, because even if you have a recipe or a meal that you normally make, you still end up with a lot of food left. So that was quite a challenge, and I'm like, well, what in the world? So I just stopped cooking. I thought, I'm over this. I'm not going to cook no more. I'm not going to do that. But, you know, when God gives you skills and talents, He expects you to use them. No matter what age or stage of life you're in, He expects us to use them. So I thought, well, what can I do? you know, for the longest time in my nursing career, I was doing home care. And I felt like I was ministering and doing something hands-on for people. But I'm not in that type of nursing anymore. So that's what he showed me. Well, you know how to cook, so cook. I'm like, who am I going to cook for? Well, that's when the two ideals started to merge to feed his sheep, feed his people. So I thought, well, I'll just start cooking again, and what it makes, I'll share, because I can't eat it all, and I hate wasting food. I really do, especially these days and age with, you know, the way the food prices are and things becoming harder to get. I didn't want to waste, so I figured, you know, I'll just cook like I normally do. Well, like I did even back when my kids were home. And started boxing it up and taking it to friends and people who don't have anything at all. And that was probably the best thing I ever decided to do. Well, I didn't decide to do it. The Lord told me to do it, so I just obeyed. But it was just the best thing ever. You know, there's something about serving people rather than yourself all the time. You know, you spend your lifetime doing everything that you want to do, and you might get some fulfillment out of that, but there's just something about looking and stepping outside of yourself. And that was probably the best thing I ever did. So yeah, that's what I do. That's my days. Monday and Friday I cook, and Wednesdays I try to do a baking day because I love to bake and try new recipes and new things. And of course that too, you know, anytime you bake anything, whether it's cookies or pies or cakes, you can't make a small amount. I mean, you can, but, you know, even if you made a one serving cookie or miniature cake or whatever, it's still going to be a decent amount, enough that you could split it in half or eat the whole thing, which I would do, but we all know that's not a good thing. So then you still have leftovers, and you know, if you don't eat all that, you end up throwing it away. So I started using Wednesdays as my baking day to make, you know, baked goods, and then I would have that to serve Monday or Friday. Of course, this week I did not get to my baking day, which I kicked myself for, but oh well, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you get busy and you just don't get to the things you want to do. So I got my vegetables cut up, my green pepper and onion. I used one green pepper and 2 little tiny onions, which would probably be about 1 large onion. And I'm not a bland cooker. I love to cook with seasoning and spice and flavors. So I'm going to saute this in, let's see here, let me get this open here. I can multitask usually, but sometimes I can't. I'm going to saute in some butter and a little bit of avocado oil. I like the butter just to give it the flavor, and the avocado oil to keep it from sticking. So, alrighty. What are you doing, Katie? What? My cats, they're my company. They sit around here meowing like they're asking, what are you doing, Mom? What are you doing? So I'm going to let that melt, and I have some bacon going too in my air fryer, and I thought I would do it kind of like a carbonara, sort of a modified version of a carbonara. I love pasta carbonara, but I know a lot of those recipes are kind of complex recipes, and for time's sake, I don't have time to do a complex recipe today. Although this is not the simplest, but I'm going to take the bacon and crumble it on top after I mix everything together and just let the cheese melt on top in the oven and then crumble bacon on it. So that's the plan with the bacon. I decided I'm going to add 1 clove of garlic. Like I said, I don't typically have a recipe. I do use recipe for cooking sometimes, but most of the time it's just whatever I decide to throw together. And so I'm going to add just 1 clove of garlic. I was going to do 2. I might know. Older folks, their taste palette can be a little bit more bland than ours, and I don't want to put them into overload, so I'm going to just use 1 clove of garlic with that. Whoa. I'm going to do a finger here. Okay. There's that. I kind of browned my butter a little bit much there, so it's going to be more flavorful because of the brown butter, but oh well. Okay. Let me stir this well. All right. It smells really good. Like I said, I wish they had smell-o-vision because you can see something cooking and you can see what somebody's putting together, but the smell is just amazing. All right. Let me salt my water. It's actually boiling already. Ready. I'm going to do 1.5 boxes and we'll see where that gets us here. I like the bow ties, but I like the mini bow ties better, really. But these are good too. On the bacon. Almost. All right. So here's my cream cheese, and it's melted pretty good. I know it doesn't look very appetizing, but it is going to be good. And then my pasta. Let me stir that. And those take a few minutes to cook. I'll test one and see if it's done. No, not yet. So I'm going to dump my cream of chicken in there. There's one. Make sure it's all out. And 2. Then I'm just going to stir that really well. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of water to that. I would add milk, but I think it'd make it a little bit too rich. And I think there's enough fat in it. I don't think it's going to make it separate or anything. Here, my toaster over there making bacon sandwich with the leftover bacon that I have for the top. All right, I'm going to dump that chicken in there, and I'm going to try to chop that up in there. There we go. It's going to take a few minutes just to chop that up and get that to simmer down together. Then I'm going to add some seasoning to it. I like to use Miss Dash and a little bit of, I get this stuff, it's called kitchen dust from the Amish bulk store, not bulk store. Let's see. All right, and we'll let that simmer down together. Okay, so our sauce is coming together really well. It looks good and smells good. So I'm going to add a little bit of pepper, and my pasta's done. A little bit of pepper. It's a big dish, so we'll put a little bit extra. And my farm dust. This is my farm dust I get at the market, the Amish market. Sorry for moving the camera around so much, if I'm making you dizzy. And that one is a no salt dust. And it has onion, garlic, black pepper, celery, coriander, marjoram, thyme, rosemary, savory sage, oregano, and basil. That's what's in that. And then I also have from the Amish market gardening seasoning. It's salt free. It's kind of like their version of the Dash, but it's basically a lot of dehydrated vegetables, minced, and it just adds a little bit of extra flavor and texture. So I'm going to mix that up. And I did not salt that. I might put a little bit in it just to bring out more of the flavors, but a lot of the people that I take meals to, I try not to salt because I don't want to aggravate any of their health conditions that they may possibly have. But I am going to put a little bit because salt does help bring out the flavor. And I'm going to use my pink Himalayan salt in that, just a little bit. That's it, good enough. I'm going to stir that. It does smell really good. And that's it. It's really ready to go. I'm going to mix it with the bow tie pasta. I probably made a little bit too much pasta for it, but we'll see. If I don't use all my pasta, I'll put it in the fridge and use it for something else, because I hate to waste anything like that. Because if you got any sauces in your freezer, which I do, you can always throw it over the pasta and use it for a whole nother meal. So, trying to chop up that chicken that I should have did in a bowl before I throw it in the pan, but kind of pressed for time, so that's what you got to do. But I think it's okay. And that does look really good. I was going to throw some diced tomatoes in it, but I'm like, I don't know if that's the right flavor profile. What do you all think? Would you put tomatoes in it or not? I may try that again the next time. Some things I know I don't ever make the same way, sorry, tongue-tied, twice. I don't know if you ever do that. Kind of like meatloaf. Sometimes you never make it the same way twice. This is going to be the same thing. Next time I'll probably add some diced tomato. Okay, and there you have the finished product. And I'm going to garnish that with some shredded cheddar cheese and crumbled bacon. So that is my bow-tie chicken pasta, and it is amazing. Well, friends, thanks for stopping by Mama Lisa's, and I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me for a little bit. Hit that subscribe and like button, and I hope to see you back again soon. Have a blessed day.